everybody, and welcome to the Ringmasters podcast. I am Austin Sumwitz, and joined with me tonight, I have my Tyler Breeze to my Fandango. I have Chad with me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, but I want to go by Chet Cheddarson from now on. You're plugging Fandango.
Of course,
so.
yes. We gotta plug some. Oh God,
Southpaw Regional
Wrestling. Yeah. How dare I forget what that was called?
That's okay.
So yeah, welcome to the Ringmasters podcast. We are coming off the heels of an incredibly crazy Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. But before we get into that, I have to apologize for last week's episode because I made a mistake. I was a terrible wrestling fan and I got a fact wrong.
God, you mark.
I am an absolute mark. I said during when we were arguing about part-timers, I said there was a reason why Mike Tyson was in the first WrestleMania. He was not in the first WrestleMania. He was in WrestleMania 14 when he punched Shawn Michaels.
That's close enough.
Yeah. Mr. T was in the first WrestleMania along with Muhammad Ali. So, it's just MT, like it slipped my mind for a second. I just thought, oh yeah, Mike Tyson, he was in WWE, right? I'm a terrible fan and I feel horrible.
You should feel horrible.
I should feel horrible.
And with that being said, I'm looking for a new co-host.
Okay, I'll just sit in the corner. He'll just sit in the corner right now, and I'll just watch. I mean,
But anyway, yeah. So Hell in a Cell in Detroit, Michigan. What a pay-per-view! I, for one, thought it was incredible.
I feel like there were definitely some. There were some matches that were definitely iffy. My main points being the Jinder Shinsuke match for the championship for the WWE title, and Rusev versus Randy Orton was okay. But other than that, I thought every match was good. Because it was just a really strong match. However, I want to talk about, because I know that there were some people that were I saw online there were some people that were saying Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler wasn't a very good match. That was a good match. Detroit was just being assholes.
Yeah, I think there were a couple CM Punk chants.
There were CM Punk chants. There was a Little Caesars chants. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me right now, because they were doing some good storytelling in that match.
Yeah, it was booked. The ending was a little weird.
It was.
I'm not a big fan of how the ending ended, but yeah, it was an okay match.
I mean, it was a good way for them to show that Ziggler's still doing stuff with them. So I mean, we saw on SmackDown that they are going to be getting a rematch next week on SmackDown. So at least we know Dolph's still working for the company, at least for now. But yeah, I mean, for the pre-show we had Shelton and Gable versus the Hype Bros. I don't know if you saw this though. The hard cam was really weird for that match. Did you see that?
I unfortunately missed the pre-show. I started with the actual card.
It felt like the hard cam that they normally used wasn't working for that match. So the hard cam was basically a guy in the standing at ringside on the bottom, like filming in between the ropes. And I was just like,
that is weird.
It really freaked me out because I was just like, oh God, is the hard cam working, or was like there's something wrong with the arena?
It's gonna be an entire show.
It's just like an entire we're looking up at the match.
That'll make the Hell in a Cell spots look that much more intense.
Exactly.
They're 100 feet in the air.
Oh my God.
For the love of mankind.
Cameraman, you getting this? But one thing quick before we continue into the first match on the card, on the main card at least. The arena lights on the ceiling for the Little Caesars Arena, which I had seen when I went to the concert that I went to go to the Little Caesars Arena, which was Ed Sheeran, and it was amazing. But like they didn't have those on, so I didn't actually get to see how cool they look. Mm-hmm. The fact that they had those queued up to the entrance lights and everything into the Titantron was freaking awesome, and I just thought that was super cool because I've never seen that in an arena before because it just looked so cool.
As a sad Red Wings fan who never went to the Joe, it does make me quite happy. Like, I want to go to this arena. Like, it's a really...
You've never been to the Joe?
Never been to the Joe, and unfortunately, I'll never get the Joe. I could go to where the Joe used to be.
Yeah, the only time I only went to the Joe once, and it was for the Monday Night Raw when Shane McMahon was named the commissioner of SmackDown Live. So when Vince was there,
that would have been a good one.
It was a really good one for sure. And it was also the one where Seth did his little show and made fun of Roman Reigns when he was still out for his wellness policy violation.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun, but it was also upsetting because I wanted to boo the crap out of Roman when I was there. I was just like, no!
I paid my money to boo.
I wanted to boo him.
But yeah, Gable, Benjamin, and the Hype Bros. Like I said, I didn't watch it, but I heard it was really way more competitive than people were gonna think it was gonna be.
Definitely for sure. Shelton and Gable, I think, can be really good champions, even though I was really pulling for Breezango. So I think they'll do a really good job, though, and it should be a good match for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not how I would go about booking Shelton Benjamin, but, I mean...
It's a good way to save Gable, because Gable was left stranded after Jason Jordan left.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I just feel like if you could, like, if Benjamin and Gable beat the Usos at, like, say, Survivor Series, and then they go on a nice little lengthy run, even if they go to, like, WrestleMania, or I'd even take, like, Royal Rumble, and then they lose the titles and Benjamin turns, I think a one-on-one match between Gable and Benjamin.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think that would get Gable over.
It would be a wrestling clinic. It would
exactly.
be nuts.
Especially if after that match, then you can put Gable in the U.S. picture, and you can have Benjamin do something with, like, the World Championship.
Oh,
I don't think I ever want to see Benjamin... See, I don't know. Part of me says I'd never want to see Benjamin win a world title because, like, I feel like there's other guys who deserve the spot. But also, does Benjamin not deserve that spot?
I think he absolutely deserves it. He worked so hard back when he was in the WWE in the mid 2000s. I feel like if there was any point for him to get his dues and get a world title, it would be now because they brought him back, and, like, he's still just as good as he was back then. I
just thought of something. What if Gable and Benjamin win the tag titles and then they lose him? Then that takes them all the way, and then they do the angle at Mania, right? It's Benjamin and it's Gable, and Jason Jordan's on the Raw doing absolutely nothing, right? Yeah. So then at WrestleMania, it's a tag team match, and they both pick their partners, and we get American Alpha, the reformed American Alpha, versus the world's greatest tag team with a one-night return of Charlie Haas.
That would be insane. Yeah, well, I was thinking too. Like, I thought because, like, remember when Shawn Michaels and John Cena were tag team champions leading into WrestleMania 23? They could kind of do that sort of thing where they're tag team partners, but they're still kind of like butting heads a little bit.
Or like Matt Hardy and MVP kind of situation when they
I don't
were
even remember that tag team.
When MVP and Matt Hardy were feuding, MVP was like, "Oh, I don't want to face Matt Hardy because he was better than him." But he said, like, "Oh, I've already, you're not worth my time, but I'll team with you." So then they were enemies, but they were tag team partners.
They were frenemies.
And then, like, they actually had like the tag team titles for like a good, like, solid, like, 4 or 5 months, and then they lost the belts. And then MVP raised Matt Hardy's hand, like, "Oh, a face turn," and then he just destroyed him put him on the shelf.
I did not remember that at all.
That's a minuscule fact. I'm a big Matt Hardy mark, so that's why I'm a fan of it. But all right, I think we've Gable and Benjamin got the win in the pre-show, and then, like you said, on SmackDown they won the Fatal 4-Way match for the #1 contendership. I'm looking forward to that match. I think the Usos are on probably the best run they've ever had. I was not an Uso fan until they pulled that heel turn.
If there was any point where they won over their haters, it was at the Hell in a Cell match that was on that opened the match. That I thought was pretty cool that they had that open the match, open the show. So first champs come out first, which pissed me off, and I was legitimately surprised to see that Xavier Woods was wrestling. I didn't think they'd put him in there.
And I saw a thing, and I think it was either Instagram or Twitter that I saw, but somebody had like a Kofi Kingston Hell in a Cell record, and every time he's wrestled Hell in a Cell, he has won, except for the first year they were with the New Day, they lost, but Kofi wasn't wrestling. So, like, I was really surprised, kayfabe reasons, why Kofi wouldn't be wrestling this match, but I see why now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just because Xavier Woods is crazy good, and it's like he doesn't wrestle often. So when he does, it's like you're reminded, oh my God, he's actually ridiculously good.
I have a New Day T-shirt, but Xavier Woods is the only member that I actually went and bought one of their own shirts. I have his up down down. Shirt.
I have the Bootios and the unicorn shirt.
I have the classic black T-shirt that says New Day in the white.
Oh yeah.
I had like the classic New Day T-shirt that they like their first T-shirt I went and bought.
Yeah. So the New Day ended up bringing out a cowbell and a gong to beat up
and a trombone.
And, 2 trombones.
They had 2 trombones.
2 Francescas. It's like Xavier Woods gets around with the girl's named Francesca. So. It's like, oh my God, dude! Like, what's your Tinder game? It's like ridiculous. And then there was it seemed like there was a botch when I think it was Big E had picked up one of the Usos and was gonna drop him on Xavier, and it looked like he landed on his leg, and it like freaked me out.
Yeah, it looked. I remember that spot.
But thankfully they were okay, and then they ended up trapping Jey Uso with kendo sticks against the cell, which was really creative. which
Yeah.
is really creative.
That entire match was like just so brutally violent. Like literally, like
Oh, yeah.
the part where like Big E like jumps through the ropes and slams himself into the cage.
His head
like,
went into the cage. I
Yeah,
was like, dude.
like-
Well, first of all, Big E diving scares the crap out of me because like he almost kills himself every time.
Yeah, like it was brutal. And then the spot where they take Xavier Woods and they handcuff him to the cell and then start beating him in the gut with kendo sticks and like the
Yeah.
ribs. I was like, Jesus
Oh
Christ.
yeah. Well,
like,
and I didn't see how Big E got out of his handcuffs. That I didn't see that.
I unfortunately I was at work. That's why I missed the pre-show.
Yeah.
And I was watching the first match. I was watching the New Day Usos match while I was working because I'm a very responsible manager at my job.
Absolutely. But I didn't see how Big E got out of his handcuffs.
That's the point I was
just
making.
like,
I missed it too, but
I was like, how'd you get out of there? And then of course Detroit, as they eventually said later in the night for the next Hell in a Cell match, wanted tables very, very badly.
yeah.
And of course people are gonna say, oh, because it was Detroit and they're like, oh, it's so violent. It's like, yeah, good one. You're so creative.
Well, I don't know. I mean that match, and with every New Day Uso match that they've had, they killed it. I thought that was going to be match of the night. I thought that was going to be the better Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, they ended with a steel chair splash too, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, and the Usos pick up the win, and the Uso Penitentiary are now 5-time tag team champions.
5-time,
which is weird because like when I heard that statistic, I was like, they've only held the tag titles 5 times. I feel like they've been tag team champions way more than 5.
They've definitely been. Well, I mean, they've been around for sure for a while.
Yeah.
But I don't think they gave them the titles, at least during their earlier runs when they were babyface.
Yeah, I know
feel
they
like
were.
when they started turning heel and working with the New Day, that was when they really started to get going.
Weren't they tag team one time when they were in Booker T's Fat 5?
Dude, Booker T's Fab 5 changes
Sucky
way too
ducky
much.
quack quack.
That mother trucker. I mean, like, oh my god.
But so yeah, after the tag team title match,
It was Rusev versus Randy Orton.
Oh no.
It was a bit ridiculous.
This is when I went and made popcorn.
Yeah. Detroit wanted Lana. They wanted Lana very badly, which understandably. And it was weird. This match shouldn't have been as long as it was. It just went on for way too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. Randy Orton and Rusev both wrestle a very slow style, and I appreciate everything Randy, because Randy's a legend. So I appreciate
well,
what
he's a
Randy
legend
has
killer.
done. Yeah, and Rusev is great. I'm a big Rusev fan. But I think their styles both just clash on the sense that they're both just such a slow, misogynist style that.
Well, that, and I think they were also trying to make up for the fact that their SummerSlam match was literally 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, so they were obviously trying to make up for that. Honestly, the one thing I noticed from this match wasn't even during the match. It was after the match when we found out that Colonel Sanders will be a character in WWE 2K18.
Oh, but see, when that's the payoff
There's something
of your
wrong
feud,
with your match, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, like the fact, well, like yeah, again, it was okay. Like really, it wasn't anything terrible. It was just a slow, methodical match, which you expect from Randy Orton and Rusev. But I just feel bad for Rusev because I feel like he deserved way more.
I don't like that Rusev didn't go over.
Yeah.
You could have easily have had Aiden English run in, distract Randy, and then Rusev could have hit him with something.
I felt like that was what was going to happen.
Yeah, me too.
The fact that Orton won clean, I thought was just kind of like, okay,
See,
why do you need this?
Randy Orton is in the same mindset as like when John Cena wrestles. I go in expecting them to win, and then when they don't, I'm genuinely shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Like during the WrestleMania match with Bray and Randy, I was sitting there going, "Please let Bray go over. Bray needs this way more than you do. Please let him go over." And then their match sucked, and Randy went over. So it's like.
It's like, well done.
Do you
need to push Randy any more than he already is?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He already has the RKO. He's over just with that move.
Yeah, his finishing move became a meme. Like.
But after that, we had the United States Championship match between AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, and Ty Dillinger. You were right. I honestly didn't think they'd put him in that late. But
I did predict it.
I'm glad he did, though. I'm glad he did because Ty did a really good job.
That was the best Ty Dillinger match they've had since he's been on the main roster.
For sure.
Which, I mean, isn't saying much because he's only had like maybe 6, but...
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't definitely the best build-up to a United States Championship match that they could have had, but it was still a great match. One thing I wanted to comment on was during the match, I saw on the hard cam, there was a sign that said, "We want TV 14," and I immediately shouted, "No, we don't. Shut up and stop being nostalgic for a time that wasn't as good as you think it was."
Yeah, the Attitude Era. That's might be a hot take, but I'm with you.
I mean, the Attitude Era was pushing the boundaries in what they could show on television. They did crazy stuff, and there was moments that we will never forget. But at the same time, it gave us mud matches with our women wrestlers, and also choppy your pee-pee.
Yeah.
So
if the Attitude Era ever came back, the WWE would get canceled within a month.
Absolutely. Like everything about TVPG wrestling is better, and it's not as good as you think it is. TV14 is not as good as you think it is. And if you went back and actually watched some of the Attitude Era stuff that wasn't Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock or Vince McMahon, you would be like, wow, a lot of this stuff is really stupid.
That'd be a good episode. That'd be a good episode, bringing in somebody who's an Attitude Era fan and having us debate back and forth.
I feel like that would be a really good shot. I mean, obviously, it would be like if it was you and me working together, it'd be like we were just interrogating him. Like, no, you're wrong.
You're an idiot.
You're wrong, you stupid idiot.
But yeah. What were we talking about?
Baron Corbin is the new United States Championship. He finally got a title, and so much for him being buried.
Yeah.
So much for him being buried, and where's your briefcase and all this kind of stuff. They're finally kind of rolling with him a little bit more. And honestly, I wasn't a fan of the fact that he ended up beating AJ Styles on SmackDown the next night, kind of clean. It looked clean to me.
Yeah, and especially because I thought the entire reason, the whole reason I predicted Ty was going to go in the match was so AJ didn't have to eat a fall. And that's why I was like, they're going to put Dillinger in it, simply so Baron can pin Ty Dillinger.
And that's what they did, yeah.
But then on SmackDown,
exactly, they ended up having him pin him
anyway. So if you're just going to beat him on SmackDown, you should at least beat him at a pay-per-view.
I guess.
That would do more for both of them because AJ losing,
or at least beat him by cheating. So don't win clean. That's the thing. That's what I thought was going to happen on that, but. I mean, I'm okay with Baron being champion because, even though I've said I'm not a Baron Corbin guy, I'm willing to see what he does with it. And the stuff that he's, making fun, just going at all the internet fans that are so pissed off that he's champion, I think that's good for him because it's definitely, he seems like the kind of guy who would just be like, oh, you're angry? Cool. I love that.
Yeah.
It's just he's just feeding off your anger and stuff like that.
If it allows AJ to then take the belt off Jinder, I'm happy.
Oh, 100%.
That's what I want. I want AJ to get out of the U.S. title scene.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Still WWE champion for no reason. Anyway, before that, we had Natalya versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship, which was a good match, which ended by DQ, which I was not a fan of.
I was feeling that match until the end. Then I was like, well, that was stupid.
It was definitely trying to build story about Charlotte's, she was working the leg of Charlotte crazy. So obviously it felt like if Charlotte were to win like that. But I assumed that what would happen was she'd go for the figure eight, couldn't hit it, and then Natalya would quickly turn her over with the sharpshooter and then win the match that way. But instead it was just a DQ when Natalya hit her leg with a steel chair.
I thought it was gonna be them putting submission holds like you said the entire time with the legs. Charlotte getting the tap out win. Carmella hitting her in the leg with a briefcase.
Oh, you thought she was gonna cash in?
I was expecting a cash in. I thought it was so set up so perfectly for a cash in.
I didn't think they'd do it tonight. I figured they would probably do it next pay-per-view. But one thing I liked was Natalya when she had Charlotte in a rest hold, shouted at Detroit, "You like Charlotte?" No response from Detroit. It's like, oh, cool, Detroit. You're such a cool crowd.
I really like when wrestlers shout those things at crowds to
no response.
To just no response. It makes me feel so bad for them.
Oh, it does too.
Are you having fun now? Crickets. Well, yeah. I guess not.
I guess not. I was right. Ha ha. I fooled you.
Yeah, and then if you're a heel, you're the bad guy. Well, good. Now I'm glad you're not having fun.
It's okay, just shut your mouth and just go back to the wrestling.
Baron does that all the time.
Baron. Oh, boo!
Yeah. Oh, boo! Or where's your briefcase? Oh, you're so funny. Oh, real quick, that spot with the triple threat for Dillinger, AJ, and Baron. When that spot where Dillinger almost fell and got the pinfall, I thought that was gonna be.
I totally forgot about that. That was legitimately one of the best spots I'd ever seen.
I thought that was going to be the finish.
That was a crazy good. I was like, oh my god, he fell into the pin. That was genius.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with that spot, but that was an amazing spot. Because I had never seen that before, and it was just a good way to make you think, Ty has it. Ty, he's gonna fall into the United States Championship.
Yeah. It reminded me of the Wrestle Kingdom spot where Okada goes to Rainmaker Kenny Omega, and he passes out and avoids the Rainmaker because he passed out. I don't know. Reminded me of that spot. So,
nice.
But yeah, I thought Ty Dillinger was gonna get the win there, and I thought Charlotte was gonna get the win. I was not doing really hot.
DQ, yeah.
Yeah, well, she did, but Yeah, I wasn't doing too hot on my predictions. For
I
this
was doing
pay-per-view.
I was doing okay, but then we had the Fashion Files, which was hysterical. No special appearance by the Entourage. Tooth Fairy 3 with Cesaro. 2 people who were allergic to sleeves. That's So Raven with Raven. Sad Ascension coming in there and being all sad.
Yeah, when the Ascension came out, we're like, we just want to be your friends.
Yeah.
The Ascension's so dumb, like,
It's like,
they're
oh
ugly.
My God. It's like, what the hell? It's like, why are you so mean to us? And then when they announced they had Pulp Fashion on Tuesday, which they didn't actually do, I think.
That's a very typical thing to do with the Fashion Police.
Yeah, it's
book
like
them to
up.
appear on SmackDown and then not have them appear on SmackDown.
I mean, they appeared on SmackDown. They just didn't do a Fashion Files episode.
Yeah,
But I thought that was funny as hell. I mean, those guys do so much funny stuff.
and they had a thing that said 2B, which I think I've put the puzzle together on that as opposed to what happened on SmackDown
Yeah.
with the Bludgeon Brothers.
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I just burped at the sound of that.
That means you're a fan.
Oh,
if anything makes you
it's-
burp on command, you're a fan of it.
It was they were like holding sledgehammers. I'm like, where did they break into Triple H's house?
It looked like something. It looked like characters from Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
It
like,
really.
I
feel
looked
like
at
that's
the
what they were
Bludgeon
doing.
Brothers and I was like, this looks like a gimmick in like the 70s. Like,
Yeah, it's like, I don't know why they came up with that. I mean, like,
I love it.
I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with it because I love Rowan and Harper. I think they're a great tag team and like definitely, like in terms of tag teams, we need more tag teams, especially on SmackDown.
I was just gonna say, I think it definitely gives
So,
SmackDown that tag team.
I say give them a chance because I think they could do some really good stuff. And then there was the WWE Championship between Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura. Singh brothers get ejected. Jinder Mahal hits him once with his finisher and wins clean. Clean as a freaking whistle.
Yeah.
Complete and utter BS.
I didn't. I literally was watching that match and I didn't know, like when it ended, I was like I didn't know what to say. I was like I just
I knew exactly.
I just shook my head.
I knew exactly what to say. You have failed with the Shinsuke Nakamura project. You have absolutely failed. So, like, this is why we have to be skeptical when our favorite independent wrestlers or our favorite guys from New Japan or from Ring of Honor come to WWE, because a lot of times you can get an AJ Styles, but you can also get a Shinsuke Nakamura, who is one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers in New Japan, comes over, King of Strong Style, absolutely jack.
And it terrifies me for when Asuka shows up on Raw.
Oh yeah, I mean, like if they do the it's like you cannot ruin Asuka when your developmental team has shown you time and time again how to book Asuka.
Well, that's the same thing with Shinsuke. Like, this match should have literally have ended with Shinsuke just kicking Jinder's head off and getting the pinfall. Like, there's no reason for Jinder to have to beat him clean. I would have been okay if there would have been shenanigans, but clean. And he did distract the distraction of them ejecting the Singh brothers did give Jinder like that second delay or whatever it was, but like
even still, it was still like it was just utter bullcrap. Especially when he hit him with the Kinshasa and he grabbed the ropes and saved himself. So like the Kinshasa is not as protected as Jinder Mahal's finisher. I literally just got a phone call as you were talking, and I was about to answer it, and they'd be like, "Hello," and then I'd hear, "Yeah, Jinder does suck," because I was just expecting the name of Jinder Mahal to just bring up someone on my phone calling me like, "Hey, guess what? Jinder sucks." But yeah, total BS. We're gonna quickly move on to Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler. Because I'm sick of that
real
match.
quick. Well, where does Shinsuke and Jinder both go from here now? How would you book their respected paths?
I feel like at this point, the only person to beat Jinder Mahal for the title would be AJ Styles.
Or Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode could do that. I feel like it would be a lot more comfortable if AJ did.
What about Shinsuke?
They've blown it for Shinsuke. He's lost twice in a row now to Jinder. Once from shenanigans. Once clean. Like, the fact that he's lost clean is just the thing that dropped it for me. It's like if he had used shenanigans again to win, I would have been upset, but a little bit more understanding because he cheated. So at least it's not a clean win. This was clean as a whistle. You have ruined Shinsuke Nakamura completely. The King of Strong Style was better booked in NXT when he was facing Bobby Roode and when he was facing all these guys in NXT. You have completely ruined him with this artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura gimmick, and just completely taken away the mystique of him. And he doesn't do enough strong style wrestling. You have him too booked in the WWE style of wrestling. He does his little he does like his famous moves that he's gonna do, like he'll do like an exploder suplex or something. He'll set up Jinder in the corner and hit him with his knee, and then he'll do the little put his head on you and like wave his arms back and forth. It's like you've given him already moves that people already know he's gonna do, but not win the match with. It's like that's not what Shinsuke Nakamura should be doing. He should just be kicking you and kneeing you constantly until you cannot walk anymore.
And Shinsuke's best match was still against Sami Zayn at his first TakeOver debut.
Oh, that's one of my favorite matches.
That's a problem. That's a problem that your first match that you had is still your best one that you've had in the company.
And the fact that you went downhill from there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of plateaued on NXT once he won the championship and stuff like that. But when he was brought on to SmackDown, it was downhill from there because it was just like, first of all, they ruined they immediately started doing the violinist thing immediately.
Every single week.
Every single week. It's like, no, you save that so that way, like, it's important when he shows up and he has his violinist playing for him. And it's just like having him go against Jinder Mahal and having that be his first legitimate loss and then having him lose clean again twice, like 2 matches in a row on pay-per-view against Jinder Mahal and he loses.
Yeah.
It's like you've ruined it. There's no way anybody's going to care about him now because he's lost twice. If he was to go for it again for the next pay-per-view, people would be like, oh, yeah, Shinsuke's so going to win right now. The casual fan has no reason to care for him.
I mean, if he did fight him at Survivor Series, I would go in being like, maybe they were just waiting till a big pay-per-view, but...
They should have done it at SummerSlam then. They should have done it at SummerSlam.
Good point.
If it was perfect opportunity for Shinsuke Nakamura to become champion at SummerSlam. Because when you look at it, the 2 big titles on Raw and SmackDown, the Universal title and the WWE Championship, at a Big 4 pay-per-view, did not change hands. That's where you change titles. That's a perfect place for you to change titles. And I was expecting, well, if the WWE title isn't going to change hands, I guess the Universal title. And then neither of them did. Yeah. It just didn't make any sense for both titles to not switch. It was stupid. It was absolutely stupid. And in my personal opinion, there's no coming back for this for Shinsuke. In my personal opinion. Unless they do a really good storyline with guys like AJ Styles and stuff like that, I don't think there's any reason for the casual fan to care about him.
I think if I were the WWE, and now I use logic and reasoning, so I could never work for WWE.
Of course.
However, if I did, I would have Shinsuke work with one of 2 people to help get him back over. One, I don't really like because it would mean he'd have to lose, and I don't want him to lose. One would be Rusev, because I don't want Rusev to lose. Mm-hmm. The other one would be Randy Orton. Have Randy Orton go heel, attack Shinsuke, set up a feud. I know we had Randy Orton versus Shinsuke already, and Randy RKO'd him afterwards. Mm-hmm. There's that history. And Randy Orton, he's a star. He's a legend. If you tell him, listen, you got to put over Shinsuke Nakamura. We let you destroy Rusev. Now you need to put over Shinsuke. Randy Orton is at that point in his career where he should be putting people over.
100%.
And he said on the Edge and Christian podcast he doesn't want to be a babyface anymore. So you're turning him heel against Shinsuke Nakamura. That's a good feud. And then you can have Shinsuke Nakamura beat Randy Orton. And you can take that until you can have that at Survivor Series, and you could take that going forward for in the next 3 months, and then boom, at that point Shinsuke Nakamura is credible again, and at that point the tour in India in December is over with, so we no longer need to have Jinder Mahal be our champion going into that. Mm-hmm. So now we can have him go back for redemption and take out Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the way that you booked that, I think that would be a good idea. Definitely, I don't think people would be on board for it when it first starts out, but I feel like turning Randy heel, having him do some good heel work and like attacking Shinsuke backstage and stuff like that, legitimately getting heat. And you know what would be also like legitimately cool is if he stopped doing the RKO during
and started doing the punt.
Yes, exactly.
And we had the Kinshasa versus the punt.
Take away the RKO, have him no longer do that. Fans will hate him. That's like a perfect.
That's a great idea.
It's a perfect idea. You have something that fans like, you take it away, and then all of a sudden you're there like, oh boo.
Yeah.
Like just full Baron Corbin, oh boo.
Like when the Dudleys stopped doing their table spots.
Yeah, when they were like, Devon, forget it. Yeah. And, or like when the New Day was heel and Xavier Woods stopped using Francesca for a little while.
Yeah.
Like it was just a perfect idea.
And then when he does use the RKO again, you'll get a big pop.
Oh yeah, when he eventually ends up using the RKO, yeah, you'll get a huge pop.
Yeah.
But yeah, screw Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
That's just the blunt point. That's just the blunt point of that. But yeah. So Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler was the next match, and Dolph comes out with no entrance, which I thought was actually really cool. I thought it was cool that they started off with his entrance theme and then just cut it off, and then he just walks out there. I thought that was really good. This crowd, Detroit was dead for this match.
I was
which
dead
really,
for this match.
Well, this is Bobby Roode's first pay-per-view match, and I was into it. I thought these guys did a really good job in terms of telling a storytelling match. They did it wasn't anything incredible, granted. I mean, and of course we just came after the Jinder Mahal winning again, so the fans were already kind of peeved off. So it made sense why they were kind of just like, oh god. But it's Bobby Roode. I mean, like if you're building up a guy and you're gonna be like, oh, this guy's so cool, or I love Bobby Roode, or the Glorious Bomb, and all these crazy things, like you're pushing for Bobby Roode, and then you chant CM Punk during his first pay-per-view match, you're an asshole.
I am that guy who's a firm believer that the CM Punk chant, that and the beach balls are so disrespectful.
I think the beach balls is way more disrespectful, but I feel like people chant CM Punk at the slightest inconvenience.
Yeah, these wrestlers are literally doing dangerous spots that could end their lives. People have died wrestling, and you're gonna and you have the audacity to hit beach balls around while they're basically almost killing themselves for you.
I was screaming,
or chanting CM Punk during their match.
I was screaming at fans at SummerSlam because there was a CM Punk chant that tried to get started at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I yelled at them to STFU.
Yeah.
And then the beach balls pissed me off to no end, which was why I was so happy when Cesaro came out and destroyed it. But granted, when WWE starts filming the beach balls, or when Chris Jericho comes out and says Beach Ball Mania is running wild, do not encourage that.
Yeah, no, they should say, hey, F off with these beach balls.
Yeah, exactly.
And with CM Punk chants, I think a CM Punk chant is perfect when, like, Stephanie McMahon is out there cutting a promo.
Exactly.
Or when Triple H is out there. People that, they heel authority figure. That is the reason why CM Punk left the company. In all reality, that is when you bring out a CM Punk chant.
Absolutely. And they know that's gonna happen too, because like Stephanie was like, so if you guys keep that up for a few minutes, you'll last longer than Punk did at UFC.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, that was a good burn.
That was a great burn.
Coming from a hardcore CM Punk fan, CM Punk's my idol. I love CM Punk. Knock it off. Seriously.
Yeah.
Knock it off.
And it's been enough time to where, like, CM Punk is like this might upset you because you're the hardcore fan, but he's an afterthought now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, in terms of pro wrestling, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 4 years
Yeah.
since he left the company. I mean, like,
it's like the what chance. It's like the what chance. I hate the what chance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, freaking the fact that people are like still like, if there are people that are still like holding on to this hope that CM Punk will come back, it's not gonna happen.
No.
Look, it's much more likely that he'd work at Ring of Honor or New Japan. But even then, that's like he hates pro wrestling. Just be respectful of the fact that he wants to do his own stuff, whether it be at UFC and whether it be writing comic books, whether it be doing stuff with Nerdist and stuff like that. Respect that. Love him for what he does, or just don't support him. It's that simple. And if you're gonna be that guy who wants to start a CM Punk chant when a match is kind of slow, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Just straight then. And I don't feel bad saying that, because I'm a CM Punk fan who understands that these guys are working their butts off. They're trying their hardest to entertain you, and you're just throwing it back in their face.
Yeah.
This is Bobby Roode's first pay-per-view match, and you're deciding, I'm gonna chant Little Caesars.
Not only is it Bobby Roode's first pay-per-view match, but it's one of Dolph Ziggler's last.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest Dolph Ziggler fan, but I respect what Dolph Ziggler's done enough to not be disrespectful during his potentially last pay-per-view match.
Remember when Ziggler cashed in Money in the Bank the Raw after WrestleMania on Del Rio? The crowd went nuts.
Yeah.
The crowd went crazy when that happened, and now they're chanting CM Punk and Little Caesars at him. It's like, you're so cool, Detroit. Thank you. If I was at that show, I would have smacked all of you.
It's not even like Detroit. It's just wrestling fans in general that just think that that's like still a cool thing to do. Like, don't get me wrong. I would have been that guy the month or two after CM Punk left that started CM Punk chants.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, they're relevant. It just happened.
It's just like the Ric Flair chants, like the Where's Ric Flair chants during that episode of WCW when he left the company and went to WWE.
Yeah.
It's like people wanted Ric Flair because it had just happened.
Yeah.
And like, of course they're gonna do it in Chicago. It's his hometown. He's a god in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit more understanding if they do it in Chicago, but at least do it when it makes sense. Like, don't do it during a match between guys that you say you like. You say you like guys like Dolph Ziggler. You say you like guys like Bobby Roode, and then you still do this.
It'd be like if Vince McMahon showed up on TV and they started going a "You screwed Brett" chant. Like, enough. Like, you know what I mean? That's like the exact same thing.
It's not. It's not even that. It's just like you're sending mixed signals. It's like you want Bobby Roode to be this top guy, but then you chant CM Punk during his match. what do you think creative? What do you think Vince is gonna think? It's like, oh, this guy's obviously not doing much good, and then they'll like not push him hard enough because you're chanting CM Punk on his first pay-per-view match. This is just like Aleister Black during NXT Takeover. I think it was Dallas. I want to say it was his first match, and then there were these a-hole fans chanting their section number during the match, and then like to the point where the other fans had to chant at him to shut up.
Yeah.
And they missed his finisher. They missed his finisher because those guys decided to be jerks. This is exactly like it. You can't like be trash talking wrestling, but at the same time go on the internet forums and be like, why isn't pro wrestling as good as it was before? Blah, 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 blah. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. Otherwise, you're getting your foot up your ass.
Yeah, and I don't know, but yeah, that I mean, that was basically all I wanted to touch on that match. It was a decent match. Bobby Roode won by grabbing the tights and cheating to win, which baffled me.
It was like weird, which they ended up pointing out on SmackDown. It was like you had to cheat to beat me, so obviously it's like he's like, look, I'll beat you again. It's like, but at the same time, the argument can made, well, Dolph grabbed the tights first. It was just he was just basically okay, that's the game you want to play. Fine, I'll do the same thing.
I'm just about done with babyface Bobby Roode. I'm ready for him to wrap up his feud with Dolph and then go heel.
Just get him to turn heel and have him go crazy on everybody.
Yeah.
But finally, on Hell in a Cell, we had Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens, Hell in a Cell, Falls Count Anywhere match. Shane's family in the front row, back in Detroit where he returned. Oh my God, this match. Like,
I loved it.
It was crazy. It was like, take a good look at your daddy. Well, look at daddy, kids. That was incredible.
I thought it was long-term storytelling finally paying off, and it was something that WWE doesn't do enough, and that successfully book long-term angles. Everything in that match was great.
Everything.
Yeah. When it started with Kevin Owens being like, I'm not going in that cell, and Shane McMahon being like, you don't need to go in the cell, I'll come to you, and then brawling outside.
Kevin going for a cannonball through a table and missing, and then Shane hitting him with the broken half of the table.
That was awesome.
The coast to coast, as we always did. Then there was when Shane got thrown into the cell door by his balls, the crowd chanted "No more kids." And that I thought was funny. Kevin ends up climbing the cell, looking to jump onto Shane McMahon, and he can't do it. He can't do it.
Even before that, they fought on top of the cell.
Oh well, no. Kevin went up to climb up the cell, was gonna jump on Shane, but he couldn't do it, and then Shane climbs up after.
Yeah.
And also, there was they had to censor this because there was a lady who was in the front row who shouted, "That's some crazy sh!" and then just like had to censor that, and like that was ridiculous. So Shane ends up climbing after Kevin. They do the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens punch each other in the face. Is crazy,
which is great foreshadowing.
Yeah, and crazy good foreshadowing. Kevin hit him with a pop-up powerbomb. The cage bounced.
Literally every single time one of them would take a bump on the cell, I was like, they're gonna die. Literally, this is it. This is what gets him.
Like, oh God, I'm like flashback into 1998. It's like
it was great.
Shattering finger.
I literally
it puts dread in you because you're like, these guys are gonna die.
As a wrestling fan, I can't remember a time when I was genuinely terrified while watching a match.
Oh yeah.
Every single time the cell top would buckle. That's like 12 feet in the air.
Oh yeah.
You fall through that. You're falling. You are falling on canvas.
Yeah, there's nothing fake about
you
that.
Can't. You
nothing
can't.
fake
you
about
can't.
That.
Oh, tuck the neck in, and hold the shoulders, and
Nope.
that is.
Yeah,
I literally was terrified every time.
So Kevin Owens starts to climb down the cell. Shane goes after him, headbutts him into the cell. Kevin falls through the announce table. Shane can pin him right here, but he doesn't. He sets him up on the other announce table, climbs back up, crosses his heart, hope to dies, and jumps off the cell like a maniac.
But before he jumped off the cell, it was funny. They showed his kids, and two of his kids were like, "No, no, no!" And then the one kid at the very end just gave like a thumbs up to jump. And I was like, "That's awesome."
I didn't see that.
That kid would be me if my dad was a wrestler.
Do it, Daddy. Kill yourself.
My siblings would be like, "Don't jump, don't jump," and I'd be like, "No, Dad, jump! Destroy Kevin Owens."
And yeah, so Shane climbs back up, jumps off the cell. I thought Kevin moved.
I thought Kevin moved too at first.
Turns out that was not the case. My boy Sami Zayn saved him.
And even then, like, and that's what even made the match even more incredible. Because Kevin moves.
I have not been that shocked. In my opinion, I have not been that shocked since the Shield broke up. In my opinion, like that shocked me.
See, maybe at least for a WWE show,
Yeah.
there have been some stuff. Ring of Honor has done some things that have really, same with New Japan, but that is the best long-term shock swerve storytelling that WWE has done in years.
Like, Sami Zayn saved his former archenemy Kevin Owens. I was dumbfounded.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God. First off, I was like, oh my God. Those rumors about Sami getting a push, they were true. They were true. It just took a while. But, like, oh my God. I was in awe because Sami Zayn, by far, is one of my favorite wrestlers on the roster. He's just a hard worker. As a babyface, he's just genuinely likable. His NXT run was incredible. And it pissed me off so much how they were misusing him on Raw and SmackDown. Even more so on SmackDown because of, like, what Sami Zayn ended up explaining on SmackDown the next night was you pushed this as the land of opportunity, and all it led to Sami Zayn was mediocrity. Like, it makes all the sense in the world, which is why I love it so much. Like, this is like a huge. I'm so behind this angle right now.
And he pulled off his heel turn on SmackDown effortlessly.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
just coming out there, still happy as can be. The fans are just like confused, angry.
They're like, we want to cheer you, but yet we want to.
I was still cheering him like a mother trucker.
Oh, well,
I was like, yes.
Well,
Sami
I'm that
Zayn.
smart mark that always chants the heels. So
No, I don't do. I do that for the guys I legitimately like. Like,
Yeah.
Rusev, I'm still 100% behind. Sami Zayn's one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
I want to meet him so bad. He's such an awesome guy. Like, I just love his work. He's such a good seller. He's just
even outside of the ring, he's got that Syrian
Sammy
charity.
for Syria. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy awesome. It's like, oh my God. And it's like I said, I think it's the biggest shock since the Shield broke up, in my opinion, in WWE.
Yeah.
Like, you could say there's probably some better shocks in Ring of Honor and New Japan, but I don't
no,
see that much.
I was genuinely no. I like to say I'm that classic internet mark that calls things happening before they happen. I did not see that happening.
No, yeah, that's something.
I was genuinely
I don't
shocked.
think anybody saw that happening because of how little Sammy's been on TV. Like, yeah, there's been some little story hints. There were some hints with Sammy, like, coming to Shane being like, listen, you don't know what Kevin Owens will do to you. Like,
Yeah.
this is a different Kevin Owens. And it's like, someone had even said, like, back in September, Sami Zayn said, at Hell in a Cell, I'm gonna do it my way, and I'm gonna do it the right way, about, like, him wrestling at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Which was great foreshadowing because it was so long ago. Like, I'd completely forgotten he said that. But, like, it's just, it makes all the sense in the world. Sami Zayn has been 100% misused by Raw and SmackDown, so it makes sense why you'd be pissed off at Shane McMahon.
And especially if this has been the plan for Sami Zayn for, like, months, like, since he came to SmackDown, we're just not going to use you until this angle. That is brilliant.
Yeah, we're gonna put you in a stupid feud with Mike Kanellis, and you're gonna lose, and then we're gonna have you lose 2 weeks in a row to Aiden freaking English.
Yeah.
Like, I was so mad. Like, and it like, just to see him finally come out and be like, you've misused me. You're treating me like garbage. Well, I mean, remember when on Raw, like, they said, I'm trading you to SmackDown for Eva Marie.
Yeah.
Like, that pissed me off to no end. Because I'm like, you cannot do that to him. Like,
Yeah.
that is absolutely unfair.
And that's why, and like I said, that's brilliant storytelling.
And it's like,
from a company that usually ignores storytelling.
And it's crazy now because, like, as we eventually go into Raw, Roman Reigns now is all of a sudden the biggest babyface now that he's back with the reunited Shield, and now Sami Zayn's your biggest heel. The world's weird, isn't it? The world's really weird, isn't it?
So do we book Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag titles?
Absolutely not. I feel like this has to be like a Chris Jericho thing. Like,
you think so? He
supports him, and then Sami Zayn finally gets his first title on the main roster. The fact that it's taken him this long to get a title on the main roster pisses me off to no end.
It's just we're at the point now that, like, every single champion on SmackDown is a heel. And so now, like, if AJ Styles or even Ty Dillinger, if they would have had the spot where Ty Dillinger unconsciously falls and gets the pin and is the new U.S. champion, I could totally see them taking it off and putting it on Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
But right now, you have Jinder Mahal, Baron Corbin, and now the Usos. Like, unless you're going to turn any of those three face, which I think is a terrible idea, then there's just no one for them to beat. Now, I do think that it's going to be Team Kevin and Sammy versus Shane O'Mac and maybe another McMahon, maybe Triple H at Survivor Series and their respective teams. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I'll be interested to see where they go.
Yeah, I mean, we've determined that Sami Zayn is Kevin Owens' guardian angel. We are in Kevin's heaven, also known as the Kevin Owens Show. It's like, it makes sense. It just makes sense. Kevin Owens does all this horrible stuff, ends up becoming the Intercontinental Champion, the Universal Champion, the United States Championship,
NXT champion.
the NXT Champion, yeah. And Sami Zayn's just like, at least I'm doing the right thing.
At least I get to sleep at night, is what he
oh
said.
Oh my God. I love you so much, Sami Zayn. It's just, oh God, you're such an amazing person. You're such a great heel. They may not be friends. They're not friends. They're enemies. They're brothers.
Yeah.
And like, I am so behind that. And then they hugged, and then my heart was happy. And it's just like, yes, Generico and Steen have reunited.
They're almost like me and you. Just the dynamic duo.
Oh, you can't have them separate.
Exactly.
Like
no.
that.
Yeah.
They can't have them separate.
They're,
I don't think
they're the true ringmasters.
I feel like you. I don't know exactly if you'll powerbomb me on this table or whatnot. Because I am absolutely the Sami Zayn. You can be the Kevin.
Oh,
Owens,
I will gladly be the. Listen. Someone's gonna jump off a cell. You better pull me off. Like,
oh yeah, and I will 100% be the guy who feels like, yes, you've mistreated me. I'm going against you. It's like
I'll be the guy who just gets to wear fight shorts and eats donuts before a fight. Like, I'm totally down for that responsibility.
Yeah. Real quickly before we get into Monday Night Raw, I just want to go through what else was on the SmackDown after Hell in a Cell. The Usos and the New Day came out. The Usos said, "We respect you." Every tag team comes out and they're like, "You guys are in the back of the line" and stuff like that. Except for the Breezango, because they're like, "Hey,
Breezango's cool."
Breezango's cool. It's like, yeah, I like Fashion Files too,
which was funny.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so they had the Ascension, Breezango, Hype Bros, Shelton and Gable for the #1 contendership. It's hard to tell who the legal man was really in it because it was just so hectic.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, Shelton and Gable won. Then we had a match between Becky Lynch and Carmella, which was kind of just like it's like an okay match, but it was good to see Becky Lynch get a win, and it's obviously building up the eventual point where Carmella will cash in. We had the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens explain. Orton and Nakamura teamed to face Rusev in English in a very boring, not needed match, and the babyfaces ended up going over. We announced that we are going to have Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler next week on SmackDown, and then we had the United States Championship rematch where AJ Styles lost clean to Baron Corbin. And the only thing I liked about that was Corbin's like, y'all can look at this championship and eat it. Like, there you go, Corbin. Start getting some heel on you. But yeah, I mean, that's the SmackDown side. It's a crazy time for SmackDown for sure.
It's a crazy time for both shows. I felt like Raw was just a cluster mess. But a good one.
I feel like, you could see how many times they were showing the replays and stuff like that about the Shield returning during the Mizzies of Miz TV. First of all, I loved it when Roman was like, "Who said anything about rumors?"
Yeah,
like,
that was good.
That was a great line.
That was good.
And having them come out, and then all of a sudden, all the Roman Reigns haters are just like, "I have member berries now." It's like, I remember all of this. I'm such a big Roman Reigns fan. I'm about to buy the new Shield T-shirt.
Which I'm really happy they didn't have them all come out wearing flat jackets. I was like, please no SWAT costumes.
Yeah, it's like, at least they came out with their new well, I love how they changed immediately as they went out to beat up Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird why they did that though, because now Braun Strowman's in the match at TLC with The Miz and The Bar.
It's a 4-on-3
handicap match. Like, good job, guys. You just made it harder for yourselves.
A 4-on-3 handicap TLC match.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
That's going to be incredible. A part of me thought they were going to put Matt Hardy in it to make it a 4-on-4, but that wouldn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't really. Yeah, maybe
unless
Jason
you called
Jordan,
them the Broken Shield.
Yeah, maybe Jason Jordan. I don't know. To give him something. But then we had, after the Shield reunited, we had Jason Jordan facing Carl Anderson. Nothing interesting about this match. I need Jason Jordan to turn heel. This is not working. Like, the fans are not behind him. The gimmick is kind of lame. And it's just like, it makes much more sense for him to turn heel. It's like, stop focusing on my dad.
Yeah, no, I want him to lose and then beat up Kurt Angle and give us Angle Jordan at a pay-per-view. That's what I want.
And then we had Elias come out as he normally does.
I love this
But
spot.
Then Titus O'Neil comes out with a banjo.
Which was hilarious. I love Titus O'Neil.
I had a migraine immediately. I was like, because I identify with Elias Sampson because I also play acoustic guitar, And he plays it decently, honestly. Like when you listen to him play, like he's not a great singer, but he does play some decent riffs at the beginning.
And I identify with Titus O'Neil because I can't play the banjo.
Okay,
so just
there you
like
go.
he attempted to play the banjo.
Well, now we already have. Well, he wasn't even holding any notes down. He was just strumming the bass notes of the banjo.
I taught him that.
Oh yeah? Well, yeah. Guess what? You suck.
I
Because
guess.
that's garbage.
Titus Brand.
Who wants to walk with Titus worldwide? And it's just like,
I loved it.
Oh god.
See, I'm a fan. I like my wrestling to have storytelling and really stupid comedy. That makes sense. That was hilarious. I liked it. Fashion Files, I love it.
Fashion Files, I feel like, has a little bit of cleverness in it. There was nothing clever about this. He's just like, I'm playing a stringed instrument too, but it's a lot more annoying and stupid.
Which was funny. I don't know. I liked it.
Then we had Apollo Crews facing Elias Sampson. Again, really nothing much. Elias ends up winning. Then we had Enzo Amore coming out to talk to Kurt Angle about, hey, these guys are touching me. They shouldn't be facing me for the title, and they should all be fired. So he said, listen, you're going to face Kalisto. And Enzo Amore is like, listen, I main evented Raw 2 weeks in a row with the Cruiserweight Championship. I'm only doing this if we main event again for a third week in a row. He's like, okay, but now it's a lumberjack match with all of the cruiserweights in it.
And did you hear the backstage reason as to why that was the main event tonight?
No, actually, I did not.
All right. Well, so I read a story this morning that it was supposed to be Neville versus Enzo in a lumberjack match tonight. But Neville walked out on Monday Night Raw and asked for his release.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I am being dead serious.
Oh my god.
So Neville might not even be with the company anymore.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He like full on CM Punk walked out.
Yeah, like he no-showed, like he left the arena for Raw.
Oh my
god.
god.
He just no-sold Raw. And then and apparently asked for his release. So we might not even get Neville anymore.
Oh my god.
which is crazy to me. Like I didn't know what to think because at one point
I don't either. Like that's insane.
Yeah, like Neville was the face of the Cruiserweight division, and then he's no longer the face of the Cruiserweight division, so now he leaves.
Yeah, it's like even though they were planning on giving it I'm dumb. How did I not hear about this?
Yeah, I heard about it. My WrestleZone thing popped up, and it was also on Wrestle Talk. I saw it was
on What Culture. God, I'm a terrible fan. I just don't keep up with anything. Oh my god.
That's okay. That's why I checked the story. I was like, I need to. But yeah, so I mean, Neville might not be here anymore.
I'm not okay with that. I'm really not okay with that. Neville, please, like, come back. Like, we want you here for sure. Like, this is like, I mean, like, it makes sense why, like. It doesn't really make sense why he would leave if they're planning on booking him to face Enzo, but I guess he's just sick and tired of how the cruiserweights are being handled, even though they're main eventing 3 weeks in a row on Raw.
Well, I think he got mad that, but when he wasn't in the cruiserweight division, he was wrestling tag matches on the pre-show with no direction. And I think he's like, now that I'm no longer the cruiserweight champion, what's my direction? Am I going to be back to pre-show jobbing? Like, what am I doing? And when you look at the cruiserweight division, like, there's really nobody there that could validate. The same thing with like why Austin Aries left. There's just not enough star power in the cruiserweights to be like, oh, you're not the cruiserweight champion, you're not in the title picture, but don't worry, you're gonna feud with Mustafa Ali, or don't worry, you're gonna feud with Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak's a hilarious character, and I love his slideshow gimmick, but that doesn't really warrant a feud with Neville. You know what I mean? There's nobody, even with Kalisto and Enzo, there's nobody in the Cruiserweight division that I think has a strong reason or could sell me that they could beat Neville.
Yeah.
And that's based on how strong they booked Neville.
It's definitely understandable why it's like, where do you go after this if he doesn't end up getting the title back? Like, where do you go for this? Is he just going to be fighting the no-names on the Cruiserweight division? Like, is he going to be getting in a feud with Jack Gallagher? Which I didn't even realize he turned heel because I don't watch 205 Live. I didn't even realize he turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, are we just going to get him thrown into the tag team Cruiserweight matches when they have nothing to do with
and I think Neville's like, I'm above that because he is.
Oh, he absolutely 100% he is. Like, he's so talented. So, I mean, I guess we'll see him on the Independents.
I'm gonna be the king of the X division.
Oh God, don't go to TNA. TNA does not deserve you. He'll be the king of ROH.
He'll be the. We're gonna see Will Ospreay versus Neville at Wrestle Kingdom, and it's gonna be great.
He'll be the new member of Bullet Club.
Pac versus Ospreay, Wrestle Kingdom. Oh, yeah. That's what I want to see.
Okay, I mean, I'm 100% behind that. Like, I mean, he'll do way better matches for those companies too. But damn.
But yeah.
Damn. I mean, best wishes to Neville if this is actually it for him. Like,
yeah.
Damn. That's insane. I can't believe I didn't realize that. But after that, getting back on Raw's track, we had Braun Strowman facing off against Matt Hardy. Braun basically carried Matt. Braun beat Matt, carried Matt to the back afterwards before the Shield ended up stopping them and beating the crap out of Braun Strowman
with the Shield power bomb. I think they called it the Shield bomb now.
Yeah, the
Shield bomb, which I don't know how I feel about it.
I prefer just the triple power bomb. It's a triple power bomb. That's what it is. But yeah, so that gave them the reason for Braun Strowman to be in the match, I guess. But then again, it's like, why did you pick on him? I guess just to be the good guys that you are.
Well, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because, like, you know, Braun. I think it was good storytelling in the fact that Braun beat all three. Well, he beat Seth and he beat Dean by themselves in one-on-one matches. Mm-hmm. So, like, you may be able to beat us one-on-one, but you can't beat us as a unit. And that's what I got from that.
But at the same time, you kind of got to understand, like, there are going to be repercussions for this. Like, Braun's going to want to kill you after this.
Well, it's one of those things, too, where it's like, I don't know what else you could have Braun do. Like, there's nobody else for Braun to work with.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe put him and Neville together.
Yeah, that would be an interesting match. I don't know exactly how he would feel about that, though.
Well, you know, Braun Strowman did beat Kalisto in a dumpster match on Raw, so that could put him in line for a title shot.
You're trash. But yeah, at least it gives Braun something to do because he's incredible, and I feel like if he needs to turn babyface kind of soon because he's so over with the fans.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we had Mickie James coming out, calling out Alexa Bliss, and like people saying like, oh, it's like I don't feel like I'm welcomed in the women's division now because what is it because of my age and stuff like that. So Alexa Bliss comes out looking stunning, like may I say. It's like, she's so beautiful. She actually is legitimately beautiful. And I have a friend, I have my cousin who has a friend who says he actually went to high school with him. High school with Alexa, which I think is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know exactly what the truth is to that because I've never met him. But he says that, so I'm gonna have to believe him because I like if I get a chance to meet Alexa that way.
Yeah.
But
get her on Ringmasters podcast.
Yeah, just get a little plug for that. But Alexa comes out and shows a little like the history of Mickie James,
which I loved. I loved the whole black and white.
I thought that was great. And then she's like, "Listen, I'll get you a link to this." It's like, you know what? I'll get you a VHS. She's just so. I love
Alexa. Alexa Bliss is the best woman in that company.
Totally. It's like she's just so freaking hateable, and it's oh.
And it's awesome because when she debuted with the shakeup or with the draft, when they drafted her on SmackDown, I remember thinking like, oh, cool, Alexa Bliss, like whatever.
Because she definitely didn't feel like she had found her cinch when she was NXT when she was managing Blake and Murphy.
Yeah.
Which I mean, she was doing good stuff for sure, and like she definitely showed that she was talented.
And look at Blake and Murphy now. They're not even like.
Well, honestly, I can't really say anything bad about Murphy because he's dating Alexa.
Yeah.
So I think he's won already.
That's true.
So there's no real reason for him to lose. But Mickie ends up attacking Alexa Bliss after the match, and it was determined, I think, they're going to be facing each other at TLC.
Yep.
And then we had the boring cruiserweight match between Gentleman Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick facing Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. I honestly didn't even write down who won this match. I
think Brian Kendrick won.
Yeah, it was the heels who won this match. I didn't even write down who won because I was just like, why? First off, I was just like, why is Jack Gallagher a heel? I do not understand this. And then that was when we determined that Braun Strowman will join the Miz in the bar at TLC. And then we had Sister Abigail is alive.
Oh my God! Can I shoot on this for a minute?
Go ahead, brother.
All right, I absolutely loved this angle. A lot of people think it's really stupid. A lot of people are like, really? Bray Wyatt is Sister Abigail? Loved it. I think this is the direction, if they do it right, that can put Bray Wyatt to that next level. It reminds me of, and I'm a huge Bates Motel fan, and this is what that reminded me of, because Bray Wyatt is like, Bray Wyatt's saying about like, Sister Abigail was like this you've never seen someone like Sister Abigail, and she's here now, and gives you this wonderful backstory on, how she was like killed because she was, as Matt Hardy would say, she was too woke. So she was too woke, and then she was killed, and then her spirit is now like evil, and then like it shows like a cool and graphic of him turning into Sister Abigail, and then it was him, like his voice changed, and it just reminded me of the scene from Psycho where you find out Norman Bates is like, you know what I mean, is really his mom. Like his mom is like inside, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome. I love the entire spot. I think it is a great dynamic, and Bray Wyatt, if they do this right, could be great. I know a lot of people were like, oh, it's dumb, his voice is changing, like what is this? He needs to win, and he needs to win handedly. He needs to squash Finn Balor. Because here's the thing. Finn Balor is so over. Finn Balor being squashed would not harm Finn Balor. Especially if the projection is Finn Balor, Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
He can take that loss. Especially if he won the next night on Raw in a number one contenders match against somebody else. Bray needs that win, and he needs to win handedly. And then he needs to just go on a path and just destroy people. Bray Wyatt as Sister Abigail has the potential to finally put Bray Wyatt on the Undertaker Kane status of monster heel. And I loved the segment.
Like, just go full Jason Voorhees mother angle with
exactly,
that.
Yeah. Have him show him like just in in the corner, like in a dark room as like Sister Abigail like laughing. Yeah, have him go into matches and have them be 3-minute squashes of him just destroying people.
Yeah, it's like it is the month of Hallows Eve, so like it's just it's perfect. I think like for that.
You need that, and I think if he could do that now. It's WWE, so he's probably going to lose to Finn Balor, but at TLC, and then he's going to job. But I'm hopeful that they won't.
I can tell you right now because I was watching Raw at my best friend's house with her roommates, and they were very confused, being outsiders looking in. So it's definitely weird. It's definitely interesting. I thought they were going to actually bring someone up and have them be Sister Abigail.
So did I, and that's why I was like,
person. But having it be like a mother complex, being it like, do this for me, Bray.
Yeah.
It's like, kill him.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
Yeah.
It's like, I think if Bray can pull it off, you just need to get behind him. Have the company get behind him. Have him go full Halloween like craziness and stuff like that. Bring back Halloween Havoc. Let's do that nonsense all over again.
I mean,
if we're bringing back War Games, we can bring back Halloween Havoc.
And they're having the Starrcade live event. Like we can bring back Halloween Havoc.
Which Cody was not too happy
No,
about.
but even if you made it just like a Raw, like, oh, tonight on Raw we're having Halloween Havoc edition. Like, have a Halloween theme.
Go ahead. Like if I don't remember what day Halloween falls on. I'm actually going to check this real quick. It falls on a Tuesday. SmackDown! Have Bray Wyatt show up for literally no reason because it's Halloween.
Have him and the Bludgeon Brothers team up.
Oh,
but but I just think if you have him squash, and have him squash people that have him squash Jason Jordan. Have him squash, the Titus Brand. Have him run through Titus Brand. Meanwhile, have Matt Hardy become broken Matt Hardy again. And then, boom, your WrestleMania feud, because Jeff Hardy's going to miss WrestleMania. You can have broken Matt versus Sister Abigail Bray. And that writes itself. The amount of awesome things you could do with that.
Just like the crazy promos you can put up with that, would be amazing.
Yeah, I just think, and I hope that's the direction they're going. Because
I really do too.
If that's the case, that was awesome too. And Bray Wyatt has the potential, even though when he was getting that with the Randy feud, he was dead on arrival during almost that entire feud. And then he started winning he won the tag titles with Randy, and he started to become more, of a force again. And then
more of a threat.
When he won the title, Bray Wyatt was over again. He had a "You deserve it" chant, and then he got stalled when he lost to Randy.
Yep.
And now he's just that awkward heel that him and Rusev are on the same level of we want to root for you, but we know you're going to lose, so we can't.
He's back to saying stuff and it just meaning nothing. But then Sister Abigail, there you go.
Yeah, and if you can have, and I think at TLC we're going to get Demon Finn versus Sister Abigail Bray. You need to have Bray Wyatt win.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. I think leading up, first of all, it's a shame Jeff's going to miss WrestleMania because, oh, God, he's so incredible.
Yeah.
But broken Matt Hardy against Bray Wyatt and Sister Abigail, I'm 100% down
Yeah.
for that match. Because that way, you have your spooky match like you did at WrestleMania, but it's actually, like, it's believable because you have two crazy people going at each other. Not just one crazy person going after Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Like, it makes way more sense. But yeah, coming down to the end of Raw, we have Bayley versus Sasha Banks versus Dana Brooke versus Emma versus Alicia Fox. For the right to die against Asuka.
I thought this was such a weird concept.
Yeah.
You guys are fighting for the right to lose to Asuka.
You are digging your own graves right now, guys. Like,
Can
you're
you,
just, yeah.
If I thought it would have been better if at least one of them were like, I'm good, and just left.
Yeah.
Like that, because that would have sold it more. What they should have done is have Kurt Angle be like, the 5 of you, whoever wins this match is gonna get a great opportunity.
Yeah. Like if Nia showed up and was like, I want to be in this match too. It's like you were gonna have a chance to fight to see if you win, you face Asuka at TLC. She'd be like, nah.
Yeah, or because like even if the announcers would have been like, these 5 women were called to the ring by Kurt Angle. You know, apparently Kurt Angle has like something he needs to tell them, and he says like, the 5 of you are gonna fight for the chance to make history. You know, the winner of this match gets a very special honor. Like. And then afterwards, the winner cheers, and he's like, "You get to face Asuka." And then her'd be like, and then Emma, who won the match, is just like, "Oh,
oh, good,
go swell."
I already died to Asuka once, and then I was
Yeah.
resurrected on Raw. It's like, but now I'm gonna die again. First off, I thought it was cool seeing Alicia Fox eliminate Bayley because that was huge heel heat for her.
Mhm.
I thought that was great work. And then after the match was over, it was announced we're gonna have Strowman Reigns in a steel cage next week on Raw. So Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman in a steel cage should be a cool match. We've seen Roman and Braun enough, though, I feel like. But you know what? With the Shield being reunited, it should be interesting. And then finally on Raw, in the main event for the 3rd week in a row, we had the Cruiserweights, Kalisto versus Enzo Amore for the Cruiserweight Championship in a lumberjack match. First off, champ comes out first, which is nonsense. Need to stop doing that. And it was they brought back the Lucha Dragons theme for him, which I thought was awesome because I actually like that theme. But and then they said that it was Eddie Guerrero's birthday. It would have been Eddie Guerrero's birthday, so that's who Kalisto was fighting for, which I thought was a great push. Even though Michael Cole said he's my favorite sports entertainer. He's a wrestler. Knock it off, Cole. I want to smack you. Yeah, I thought it was a very good match.
For something that kind of like got thrown together because Neville walked out. Yeah.
I think they did a really. I like Kalisto. Like I think Kalisto can do some crazy good stuff. Every time people kind of crap on Kalisto, I point to when he was in a ladder match and he did the Salidas del Sol off the top of the ladder, which was an incredible spot. There was a superplex into the lumberjacks, which was awesome. There were this is awesome chants. Mustafa Ali saves the match for Kalisto by pulling Enzo out of the ring, which I thought was awesome, and then he got smacked. And then we had the Salida del Sol from the top rope, which I'm not even gonna lie, I marked out for that.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, whoa, that was awesome. And we have a new Cruiserweight champion in Kalisto, which I am okay with. I'm okay with this, honestly. I feel like this gives a way for Enzo to fully turn heel and then just start lashing out and like going after Kalisto. I think they can rival for a couple months with that.
If it ends to Kalisto doing something with the belt, I'm for it. If it's just Kalisto winning the belt just to have it for a week or even at TLC and have Enzo beat him, then what was the point?
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's just like you've already pushed the Cruiserweights hardcore recently with having the main event 3 times in a row, which is huge for them because this would never happen for them. But now, especially with Neville being gone, you got to make sure you freaking push through this. Like, you need to make sure that you come through with this rivalry and give us good matches and have it make sense and not just like immediately 50-50 booking, give it back to Enzo, because that's not what we need to do here. And if you can find a good opponent to go up against Kalisto, like that can do a good storyline and stuff like that, then I'm behind it. But like, just make sure, because like you're getting into tricky territory right now because you have the potential for the Cruiserweights to once again fall off again like they did back when TJP was your babyface champion.
Yeah.
So just make sure you know what you're doing with these guys, and I feel like you'll be fine because I think they've shown they can do good stuff with the Cruiserweights. Because the last 3 weeks with the main event being the Cruiserweights, all 3 of them have been awesome, in my opinion. So I think they can do this because I just hope they can because like
I'm hopeful.
The chance is there and
Yeah.
the opportunities are there for them to make good stuff out of this.
Yeah.
They just need to make sure they pull through.
Right, and I'm hopeful. I'm more hopeful in Enzo Amore than Kalisto at this present second, but Kalisto by all means prove me wrong. But I think it's gonna finally let, like you said, Enzo just unleash.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, guys, that was TLC, Raw, and SmackDown.
Hell in a Cell.
Oh,
Hell in a
sorry.
Cell.
What kind of
How
fan? What
dare
kind of
you.
fan am I?
Now it turns out you're leaving the podcast.
Oh no! All right. Well, this was the last episode that I will be on.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Tune in next week to find out who the new co-host is.
It's going to be a solo podcast. I'm going to be running it all along and then just shouting at Grant when I'm upset.
Should be a great time.
Oh, absolutely. It's been one hell of a week in terms of WWE. Coming up next week, we got Raw and SmackDown. We have 2 weeks until the TLC pay-per-view. And then maybe even next week, we can start getting to your territory talking about Ring of Honor and New Japan.
Yeah,
because
we're
I don't keep up with that as much as I should, but you, on the other hand, are huge into that, so we can definitely see if that's what's going on in that neck of the woods.
for sure. All right, guys. We're wrapping it up today. That was Ringmasters episode 2. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We will see you guys next week.